days of summer, the jasmines in bloom. July is dressed up and playing a tune, and I come la 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 la
Hey, what's good, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Yo a Nerd, Let's Talk About Comics. And today, we're going to be talking about Black Panther Legends. I had to get the variant cover because this joint is tough with all the other Black Panthers around them and everything. So, Black Panther Legends is this new comic by Marvel that just came out, and it's basically gonna show the training of T'Challa, becoming the Black Panther. Start with him as a kid, which is dope. So let's not even waste no time. Let's just get straight into the comics. So we start off with T'Challa and Hunter, aka the White Wolf, who are running around Wakanda, basically, just being kids, having fun, you feel me? And then here we get this nice wide shot of Wakanda, which is really dope and nice to see. So on the next page, we get into some real stuff. We see T'Challa's parents talking about what's happening right now. And they continue with, so T'Chaka is talking about possibly opening up the borders to Wakanda to the outside world, helping them out and everything. And then his wife, she has her reservations and everything. And they also talk about how White Wolf came to be there, how his parents had died right outside the Wakandan borders, so they had took him in and adopted him as their own and raised him along with T'Challa. And then he talks about, teaching T'Challa about the outside world and take him out there so he gets that experience. So then listening in is T'Challa and Hunter, aka the White Wolf, okay? And then so they go off with T'Chaka, and then they go off and he's basically telling them like, hey, we're gonna take you outside the borders so you can learn more about what's outside of Wakanda, right? And then he also shows him the Black Panther suit, and he says, I am also the king of Wakanda and its protector, So he says, tomorrow we're going to South Africa for 2 reasons. We're going to pay respect to your grandmother, because that's what his mom does. It's like a yearly trip. Also going to introduce you to the outside world. Expose you to other people's unjust laws and stuff like that. And then speaking of unjust laws, as soon as they go, they head to South Africa, and there's a whole line for non-European people, and there's a whole nother line for European people. So, White Wolf has to go along that European people side, right? And it's just him. And T'Challa is looking on, he's looking on kind of in disgust, kind of like, I don't like this, he's not really with it, you feel me? Then they go to the cemetery where they pay respects to T'Challa's grandmother, right? And in doing so, T'Challa's mother basically says that her mother believed in a better world, and that T'Challa must be a leader like that, right? Then we skip on, T'Challa's basically out in the market, right? Just, chilling, right? And then so he sees these kids bullying this other kid. And so being T'Challa, he says, I can't stand for that. So he jumps in to protect this dude and starts giving these kids the hands. He starts giving these kids the trained Wakandan prince, soon to be Black Panther hands. That's not even fair for real. So he punishing him, and this one guy just catches him one. Because, he not fully trained yet. He's still young, you feel me? Catch him in the future, though. Bet you won't do that then. So then he catches him, and then who comes in when they ready jumping? White Wolf comes in, they stand side by side, and they ready start to get to fight, right? So then the cops come and everybody scatters off. But in doing so, T'Challa drops his beads, his vibranium beads, right? And then somebody picks him up. I wonder who that could be. Then we go to his parents talking to him about how he got into that fight and everything. And T'Challa's like, I had to. Y'all want me to protect people. Y'all want me to, be this prince. So I stuck up for this other person. They were bullying him, and I could not allow that. And then this is exactly what he says. He says, but we had to save that boy. what those bullies were doing was wrong. How am I supposed to become the Black Panther and stand alongside while someone is being beaten? And exactly, like, that's exactly how I feel. How can you be the Black Panther and just allow somebody to get bullied? Like, your whole job is to protect people. Well, protect Wakanda, but you gotta protect people in the long run. And then we go off, they're back in Wakanda and he's back in his room, right? And then we see young Shuri come in. She's like, you wanna see my lab? Which is dope, because, you know, she's smart from a young age, you feel me? And then he starts telling her about everything that happened, about how they got into the fight and everything, about how they were treating White Wolf just because he looked different, how he didn't think that, like, he sees something different than what other people see, what the outsiders see when they look at someone, right? And then we go to White Wolf has a talk with their mom, right? And he basically says that he was jealous of T'Challa, like the way everyone spoke to him and looked at him and everything. And then he says but then T'Challa had a choice, and he chose to basically fight for a stranger. And then Hunter says, I only fought to protect T'Challa. He fought for the stranger. That's the difference between us. And he's like, he deserves to be the most loved. And then their mom basically like, you are also loved too, you know? Then we get to the meeting with the United Nations, right? We get to the meeting with the United Nations, and who's heading this joint up? Klaus. And if you know who Klaus is. And he's basically trying to tell them they want them to open up the vibranium minds to them. And then T'Chaka's like, no, we're not doing that. If we do, it'll be under our supervision and our terms, you feel me? Wakanda, he basically goes into it. He's like, Wakanda has never suffered invasion. A foreign force has never crossed our borders without our permission. No rebel militia, no rival military. He basically says, while y'all been out there doing all this crazy stuff, enslaving people, all these wars, we have known peace and we want to keep it that way. We protecting our energy, bruh. So he's like, I refuse your offer. And that's when Klaus shows him that he got the beads. He the one that picked it up. And then he basically like, he's gonna keep it. And then, but no, T'Chaka ain't playing that. T'Chaka is not playing that. T'Chaka basically like, yo, vibranium thievery is a serious offense. And so he's ready to come at this man, not as the king, but as the Black Panther. You feel me? So Claw pulls out one of his machines that he has, right? And then he jumps at him, and he jumps at some of his people, starts taking them out. And then Claus basically gets this joint fire that he's ready to fire at T'Challa, the prince. So he fires it at him, right? And then T'Chaka jumps in the way for his son, sacrificing himself for his son, but then shoots him out of a window. But at the same time, one of Dora Milaje cuts off Klaus's arm, because you know that's how he loses his arm. So we see that T'Chaka is dead, or may not actually be dead. I mean, they don't really say he's dead. He's just there and he looks like he's dead. But that comes to the end of that comic. So this is basically showing you the origins of the Black Panther and what he been through to become the Black Panther, which is tough. And what got me really excited is at the end of it, at the end of the page, this says he meets a living legend in the next issue. And that living legend by this cover looks to be the Mutant Storm, which I cannot wait to see that. But this was actually a really good comic in my opinion. I really liked it, and I'm always good for Black Panther content, especially if it's showing his origin and how he became the Black Panther. I'm always with that. And this is showing him at a young age, which is really cool. So, and we'll get to see him being raised as the king and also the protector to become the Black Panther, which is dope. And I think we'll get these little tidbits of the whole Black Panther universe in here. Like, you know, you got Claw, seeing that happen. You know, we're ready to get Storm. We got White Wolf. Like, we got Shuri. So I think this is really dope. So please check this out, especially if you're looking to get in some Black content, because this is Black Panther, of course. So check it out. Also, if you're looking for more Black content, more Black superhero comics, please check out Black Comic Lords. It's a group on Facebook. They're really dope. They talk about only Black superheroes and comic books. Strictly comic books and Black superheroes. Please check them out. And that is today's episode of Let's Talk Comics. I am just the Genius Child of Yo a Nerd. Peace.